And now reading from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyabans, entitled Immortality. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts, your desires, your changing personality. Your body has a certain age, but you, yourself, have no age. Your body may tire or become unwell, but you yourself, the fatigueless soul, cannot tire, can never know disease. Tell yourself always, I am a child of eternity. Don't be identified with your outward form, nor with change, but live in timelessness. It is our identity with change that creates the illusion of passing time. Feel that, through all outward changes, you, the immortal soul, remain the same. Death itself will put but one more change, will be but one more change. Be not identified with it. Then when death comes, you shall rise in eternal freedom. And let's affirm together, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. And a little quieter, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. And whispering, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. And silently, as I repeat aloud, I am a child of eternity. I am ageless. I am deathless. I am the changeless spirit at the heart of all mutation. And please pray silently with me. Wherever my body travels outwardly, let me feel that changeless presence within. Wherever my thoughts take me, let them return always, like prodigal children, to find repose in thee. Om Shanti.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Satsang. It's wonderful to see everybody, old friends and new. This is a reading from Rays of the One Light. And it's called, What is it to fail spiritually? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. The first passage is from the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 25. Jesus tells the parable of the 10 virgins, 5 of them wise and 5 foolish. They await their bridegroom, the Christ consciousness. The wise virgins keep the oil in their lamps symbolic of their devotion lit through the night. The foolish virgins place no oil in their lamps. These foolish ones are like the average devotee, going through the motions of outer ritual, but keeping no fire of love burning in the heart. When the bridegroom's coming is announced, the foolish virgins realize their mistake and hasten out to purchase the oil. During their absence, the Christ consciousness comes and embraces those who have been awaiting him with devotion. The foolish ones, by their lackluster devotion, are not accepted by him. Watch therefore, Jesus told his listeners, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. In Autobiography of a Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda describes the foolish virgin consciousness he encountered in the hermitage he stayed in as a young man in Benares. I was pleased, he wrote, that my new home possessed an attic where I managed to spend the dawn and morning hours. The ashram members, knowing little of meditation practices, thought I should employ my whole time in organizational duties. They gave me praise for my afternoon work in their office. Don't try to catch God so soon. This ridicule accompanied one of my early departures toward the attic. Later, during meditation, I felt lifted as though bodily to a sphere uncircumscribed. The Master cometh today. A divine womanly voice came from everywhere and nowhere. This supernal experience was pierced by a shout from a definite locale. A young priest, nicknamed Habu, was calling me from the downstairs kitchen. "Mukunda, enough of meditation. You are needed for an errand." The Divine Mother's words were not spoken for the benefit of that priest, the foolish virgin, but for Mukunda, the wise virgin. For this was the day his guru, Sri Yukteswar, came to him. Grieve not, my friends, if you feel that you have been foolish. No error is forever. Someday, if you keep your lamp lit now, your opportunity will come. In the Bhagavad Gita, the 6th chapter, Krishna promises every devotee, Arjuna, none who works for self-redemption will ever meet an evil destiny. Spiritual failure, though a deep disappointment, is always temporary. Eternal hellfire is but a projection of vindictiveness in the human mind. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. And this is a reading from Whispers from Eternity by Yogananda. This is a poem he wrote, and it's called, I Was Made for Thee. I was made for thee alone. I was made for dropping flowers of devotion gently at thy feet on the altar of the morning. My hands were made to serve thee willingly, to remain folded in adoration, waiting for thy coming. And when thou comest, to bathe thy feet in my tears. My voice was made to sing thy glory. My feet were made to seek thy temples everywhere. My eyes were made a chalice to hold thy burning love and the wisdom falling from thy nature's hands. My ears were made to catch the music of thy footsteps, echoing through the halls of space, and to hear thy divine melodies flowing through all heart tracks of devotion. My lips were made to breathe forth thy praises and thine intoxicating inspirations. My love was made to throw incandescent searchlight flames to find thee hidden in the forest of my desires. My heart was made to respond to thy call alone. My soul was made to be the channel through which thy love might flow uninterruptedly into all thirsty souls. And it's such a privilege to even contemplate being on the same path as Master has created for us, as Babaji and these great masters have created for us. And don't mistake that they have created it for us, because Master, Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Sri Yukteswar, Jesus Christ, they have one mission, they have one desire, they have one idea that is permeated over the ages. And that mission, that desire, is to bring thirsty souls home to God. And especially those of this particular spiritual family. Because there's a certain ray of light, a certain ray, a certain vibration, a certain energy that has come to this earth through these great masters, through many great masters, but it's individualized. And that ray is what we are attracted to. And to be able to recognize that ray in deep meditation should be the goal of our life. Because then we can honestly say this prayer that Master wrote. My love was made to shed incandescent rays into the souls of those around me. That's our mission, is to free ourselves from the desires and attachments that are keeping us from understanding what our soul needs and what we want more than anything. You know, it's very difficult I love the autobiography on the WhatsApp that Satyajit and Kavita put up. Every single day they have a chapter. It's so beautiful when you read that, because I was thinking when I was reading this recent one, my experience in cosmic consciousness, that all of us were reading it together. And that's powerful if we are reading it together, but even if we're not, at least it was in my mind and I thought we were, so it uplifted me. And it made me feel part of a greater reality than just my little spiritual life and my little relatives and my little problems. It made me feel like, wow, so many people in Bangalore are reading this beautiful chapter right now from the autobiography of Yogi, given to us by Master to help us to change our lives. And the particular chapter this week was an experience in cosmic consciousness. And when I came to that line, that wonderful line in that chapter, and Master has just experienced cosmic consciousness, his oneness with everything, all of nature, all of souls, oneness with God, oneness with the universe. And he describes that amazing experience. But then he says, I experienced, I cognized this experience through the intuitive perception of my own soul. I cognized, I understood all of this experience that I'm having inside my own soul, my individual soul. That's how he cognized being one with everything. And that's how we understand our lives. We can't experience it through each other. We can't experience God outside of ourselves. We never will. It will always be from the intuitive perception in our own soul. Each person here that's listening is hearing something different or understanding something in their own life that might be helpful. But it's not each one of us separate. It's all of us together. But the intuitive perception of our own hearts, that's how we experience God. How do we get there? How do we get there? We get there by seeing God everywhere, in every moment in our life, just like that poem that I read. It's very difficult because we spend most of our life resisting. I wish it weren't this way. If only I weren't so tired. Why am I so grumpy? I don't feel good today. I really don't want to do this. Why do I have to do this? This isn't fair. It's not my fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. Why is the economy so bad? Why am I experiencing all of this uncomfortable feel? Why? You know, we're always resisting our life. There's always this little tape. Why? Why does it have to be this way? But just like Master was saying, embrace it. Embrace every experience in your life, because that's God coming to you. That is God. All of the unwillingness, all of the discomfort, all of the sadness, all of the joys, it's all God. He's in everything. He's in every thought. He's in every spoken word. He's in the beauty of the flowers of the altar, on the altar. He's peeking at you everywhere, and he's coming to you through your discomfort in this planet. And he speaks to you through a child, through a smile, through the compassion of a friend. He speaks to you through a line in a book. He speaks to you through the sunset, through nature. He speaks to you through a smile of a stranger. He's always there, peeking out. But we're too bent on thinking, why does it have to be this way? Master used to say, and Swami used to tell us, quit asking the question why. Quit saying that. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? And the most simple answer for all of our problems is to open up to God. He is there. He's in that unruly child. He's in the relationship that's difficult. Why do we have these things in our lives? Well, it's to have us turn toward God. Because when we get to the point where we just can't do it anymore, what do? We say, God, help me. Well, he was always helping you. We need to relax and accept the things in our lives and see them as coming from God. See every moment as God being there. And then turn your life around. Turn your life around to a life of devotion, to a life of self-offering, to a life of joy. And don't think of yourself as a victim. We're all victims. Oh, this life is so hard. Think of yourselves as a warrior for Christ, a warrior for Master, a warrior for the gurus in this planet. Because once each one of us understands that we have that power within us to change ourselves and to feel the love of God in our hearts, we begin to share it. And if your life is so miserable that all you can think of is yourself, step out of that life. Do something for somebody else. Expand your consciousness. Call a friend. It can be so simple. We don't have to do grand things like Master did and speak to halls of thousands and initiate hundreds and thousands of people into Kriya. All we have to do is be right here in the moment. And just as Master said, I understood in the intuitive understanding of my own heart. This is God, our intuition, our heart, our soul. Be here in the moment and say a little prayer. How can I help? How can I serve? What can I do? Not for yourself, but for other people. I wanted to read something, and once you get out of thinking about yourself, the ego is transformed, which is what we have to do. We have to transform the ego to be able to experience God. So Swamiji wrote this in The Path. He said, spiritual families are like mighty nations. To them is given the real task of guiding the human race, not in the way governments do, by official ordinances, but by subtler spiritual influence. Yogananda's is one such spiritual family. And that's true. We have one another. We are already attracted to the spiritual family. Master said we've done this before in the astral world together. And so now we're helping one another to find God. Helping one another, not only ourselves. Our freedom comes when we expand our awareness and reach out to help other people. You become stronger. You become more light. Become more loving, more kind. This path, this particular spiritual path, this spiritual family, is a great blessing in this life. I was just reading on the WhatsApp before I came down, Vijay is at Ananda, and he sent pictures of Ananda, just a whole slew of them. Beautiful pictures of the new Temple of Light that we all contributed to. Beautiful pictures of everything that's going on there, the nature, the flowers, all of it. And the very last picture, he sent a picture of Swamiji's dome. And Swamiji's dome was built in 1968. It was the very first residence of Swamiji. And he stayed there for several years. He used to have satsangs there. And then, of course, he went on. But we spent many years there. We were managing the seclusion retreat where Swami's dome is, right there. And we used to stay there for seclusions. It was so sweet and so simple and so holy. It was a wonderful experience just to be in that vibration. And I thought when I saw that picture, how beautiful. There's the little hut. It was just a little hut. And then there's the Temple of Light being built for the world. Swamiji had a thought. He wanted to serve his guru. His guru asked him to build a community. He didn't know how to build a community, so he built a temple. It looked like a little round mushroom, and he built his residence. It looked like another little round mushroom. From that came this great work that Master commissioned him to do. Look what's happened all over the world. Look at almost every city. In India, there are centers here now, Kriya Yoga centers, all over the world, Europe and Africa, the United States. It's spreading. It's spreading this Kriya Yoga message. And Shibu is in Calcutta this weekend. And he's going to all of Master's shrines in Calcutta. He's going to Master's house. He's going to Serampore, where Babaji appeared to Sri Yukteswar. He's going to the ashram where Master stayed for 10 years in Serampore. He's going to all these places. We set up his pilgrimage for him. And Just think, Master, when he started his work in one room, one little room. He painted the floor red. And then he would tell his disciples, this is a great work that I'm going to do. And they would look around at the room and say, okay, Master, look what he did. How can that be? How can that be? He came to America. He stayed in a room in a hotel for a couple of years, and he would tell his first Kriya Yogi, Dr. Lewis, this is a great work. This is going to go all over the world. Kriya Yoga is going to touch millions of souls. And Dr. Lewis would look around the room and say, but when, Master? When? And so what courage that took, what dedication, what love for God. But for each one of us, we too have that mission. We have to change ourselves. Our mission is to love God more. Our mission is to do all of the things that we can, that Master asked us to do, so that when the call comes, and when that request comes from Divine Mother, go do this, you're already ready. You've been loving God every moment of your life. You have used your life to serve Him. So He's going to say, okay, now go over here, and you're going to go there, and you're going to feel His bliss. You don't leave your bliss behind when you're serving God. Your bliss grows. Don't be afraid to take the next steps. Look at this beautiful center we have. We started out in a little tiny room here in Bangalore. Now we have this. We can serve more souls. More people will get Kriya Yoga. We had 30 new Kriyabans this time, this initiation. It's growing. And it's growing because people are saying yes. Because people are taking up the challenge of being part of this spiritual family and spreading Master's work in their own lives. It doesn't help just to read a book and, I mean it does, but until you reach out and you start serving, you won't feel that bliss, because the bliss comes in the action. The bliss comes in the service. You'll feel the bliss in meditation, but if you just want it all for yourself, pretty soon it dwindles. But when you start sharing that bliss, and I'm not saying you have to do a great work, I'm saying share it with your family, share it with your children, share it with the workplace, share it with strangers. Come to the center, share it with new students. Come here, share your experiences with them. Reach out to the new people that come into the door. Help them understand anything you give away, you get back 1,000-fold. So even if you only have one little tiny bit of happiness in your life, and you share that, you'll have a big happiness in your life, because that other person will know what you know. It's really important to spread the work in the place where God has put you. We're having an 8-hour meditation next week, and it's a tradition that Yogananda started in America, spiritual Christmas, and then there's a social Christmas. But the spiritual Christmas, for every single year we were at Ananda, the 8-hour meditation was the highlight of our spiritual life, the highlight. And it wasn't easy. When we first arrived, we would, whoa, 8 hours? How can we possibly meditate 8 hours? But we did it. And Swamiji would be up there, it would be snowing outside, the windows would be open, he would have a very thin shawl on, he would be sitting there, and he would be doing Kriya Yoga, just like a rock, just like a shining, lit up rock. And we would all be sitting on the floor, trying our hardest, trying our best to do more Kriyas, to be calm and to not look at our watches, and trying our best and peeking at Swami to see if he ever moved. He never did. And, we just tried our best. And then over the years, it got easier and easier and easier. Now we can sit for a long time, but in the beginning, it's not easy. But you have to have patience, and you have to have that goal in mind. That goal in mind. And what is that goal? That goal is to feel the Divine Mother in your heart. That goal is to feel part of God. Nothing will suffice that will take that, will be better than that. Nothing. And the bliss grows. And so when we have our 8-hour meditation, come to that. come to the 8-hour meditation. Come with your innocence and your humility and your openness, and pray to Christ and pray to Master and say, come to me, come to me. In those 8-hour meditations that Master had at Mount Washington, he was in ecstasy, and he told Swamiji at one of them, he said, at the end of it, Divine Mother was speaking through Master and spoke to Swami, and he said, you must try very hard, Kriyananda, because God will bless you very much. And indeed he did. When Swami left his body, he was free. Think of that. Why are we waiting to really give ourselves over to God? Time goes by. It's so fast. We're from America. Here we are in India. We're more blissful in India than we were in America. Why? Because we're just doing what the Guru wants. It wasn't our idea. Swami called us up. We were running a center near the ocean in Southern California. And we had sent Swami a picture. We had been in India before. Then we went back to run this center. So we sent him a picture of us at the ocean. Tan, smiling, happy, healthy, radiant picture. The day after he got the picture, he called and said, why don't you come and start a center in Bangalore? You're languishing by the ocean. He didn't even give us one day before he called us and told us to come back. So, like a little bird, the mother bird is always watching over us. But I can honestly say, right away I said yes. Right away. Haridas walked in the door, I said, we're moving. He said yes. He was a little shocked. But then we moved, just like so quickly. But we've never regretted one single minute. And that's kind of a big thing, moving everything to come to a new country to do this thing. But for each one of us, the Divine Mother is asking us to do something. And it's right where we are. It's just be brave. You know, you can be brave because if you live for God, He will take care of you. He's going to support you. He wants you to grow. He wants to do something through you. We aren't just weak little limp spaghetti, noodles. We are strong souls that practice Kriya Yoga with 5 God-realized masters guiding our lives. We have so much inner strength that it's a shame if we waste this incarnation. It's a shame. Because when are we all going to be together again? Who knows? But we're together now. What a blessing. This is our spiritual family. Indian, African, European, American, Latin American, it doesn't matter. Our souls are connected because we have done this before. And all we want to do is help Master. We want to help Master spread his teachings. We want to help Master. That's what we want. So when you get bogged down by your life, forget about it. It's just a mosquito. See God there. And the reason why we get bogged down is because God is saying, see, when you live for yourself, and all you think of is yourself, and you relate everything back to yourself, and how do you feel, and how's it affecting you, you shrink. You shrink. So your problems become so big. But when you live for God, oh, you grow. He comes through you. You feel joy and love for everybody and compassion. You see God everywhere. That's the way we want to live our lives. And only then will this work grow. Only then. We have to take responsibility for our individual lives. We have to take responsibility. I can't do it. Master can't even do it for you. We have to do it for ourselves. So in our meditation on Christmas, you have 8 hours to pray to Master. 8 hours to pray to Christ. And say, help me. Guide me. What's my next step? How can I serve you? How can I help my family? How can I help you with your mission, Master? And I guarantee you, if you don't get an answer in the 8-hour meditation, you'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get a phone call, and then somebody will say, go do this, go do that. You're languishing. Go start a center. Go teach a class. Go help at the center. Go help your family. Whatever it is, you're going to get an answer. And why will you be able to receive that answer? It's because you're still. Your mind is still, your heart is calm through deep meditation. And that's when God comes to you. That's when he talks to you. That's when he guides you. In the stillness of your own soul and your own heart, that is when God comes to you. So meditate deeply every day, but really this 8-hour meditation is very, very special because we're not just doing it here in Bangalore. All over the world now, Kriyabans are doing this tradition that Master set up for us. We want to do it again during Master's birthday, but this one is the one that Master really put his energy into. So come and pray to God and just be in the vibration. You'll be changed. Many people are changed through this meditation. So I just wanted to mention that. And if you can't come to the meditation, there's even an online meditation now. I mean, we are really all over the world, truly. Master has found so many ways to spread his teachings. We're online. Can you imagine doing an online 8-hour meditation? I can. If you can't come, turn on the computer. But sit there for 8 hours, see if you can. And don't click on the internet. So see if you can. That's going to be a challenge. So anyway, I wanted to just encourage you in your spiritual life. I want us to understand that every effort that we make is not lost, never wasted. God uses us as instruments any way he can, because all he wants is for us to come home. That's all he wants. And we're the family that is going to help him in his mission. It's really a thrilling lifetime. It's thrilling. When you think of it, what would we be doing otherwise? We would just be making chapatis and going to work, you know? We just need to do more. And we need to think of ourselves as spiritual warriors, people that are really strong. If you never leave your family, God will come to you right there and tell you how to spiritualize your family, because that's going to be your dharma. That's your dharma. He's not going to say, well, when the kids are gone, then I'll come. Call me. He's going to say, right there, these are your children, this is your husband, this is where I am. See me there. See me in your husband and wife. See me. Look for me. I'm there. I'm there in your children. I'm there in your job. I'm there. How could it be otherwise? He's everywhere. He's part of us. We're part of him. Never is he separate from us. Never, never, never. So it's not in the future, and the past is gone. And every effort that we make will indeed help us to realize that state, that cosmic consciousness that Master experienced and wrote about. And if we never receive that, it's okay. At least we've helped somebody. At least somebody received the grace through you of Master. And that's enough. That should be enough. I wanted to close by reading from the AY. This is what Master wrote about Christ, when Christ appeared to him. He said, one night while I was engaged in silent prayer, my sitting room in the Encinitas Hermitage became filled with an opal blue light. I beheld the radiant form of the blessed Lord Jesus. A young man, he seemed, of about 25, with a sparse beard and mustache. His long black hair, parted in the middle, was haloed by a shimmering gold. His eyes were eternally wondrous. As I gazed, they were infinitely changing. With each divine transition in their expression, I intuitively understood the wisdom that was being conveyed. In his glorious eyes, I felt the power that upholds the myriad worlds. A holy grail appeared at his mouth. It came down to my lips and then returned to Jesus. After a few moments, he spoke to me in beautiful words of reassurance, so personal in their nature that I keep them in my heart. And so Christ will come to us too. Master will come to us. The gurus will come to us. And they will awaken us in their love, which is why we were born. This is why we came. To work out our karma, yes, give it to the guru, but to love God with every ounce of our being, body, mind, soul, and strength. That's how much we have to love God. And then He will open up our heart and our consciousness to the beauty of His bliss. So thank you all for coming. And now we will have the Aarti. Please stand.